In this video, I'm gonna rank every single medallion in Fortnite history from worst to best, or should I say re-ranking every medallion, because I have already made this video before, but that was months ago, and we have gotten so many new medallions since, so I decided to re-rank them. This video will mainly be considering medallions, I would say like 90%, but I'm also taking into account like the other 10%, which is the mythic weapon that's dropped with that medallion, right? So if there's no desire for the mythic weapon, there's no desire to kill the boss, and hence nobody is going to go for the medallion, and that is why I am partially taking into consideration the boss and what mythic weapon they drop, especially for the chapter 5 medallions. I'll explain that when I get there. But anyways, if you're going to enjoy this video, be sure to leave it a like, subscribe. We are pushing for 100,000 subscribers, and use code TYFRYZ in the Fortnite item shop with your next purchase. But with all that out of the way, let's get right into this ranking. At my number 14 spot, in dead last place by a landslide, the worst medallion in Fortnite history, it is the birthday medallion. Now, some of you may not even know this medallion existed, but it's literally just meant to be a troll medallion, so I'm not going to go too harsh on it. I'll cut it a break here, but it literally just adds a balloon on your back periodically over time, and it's just useless, right? It really is. But again, like I said, it's meant to be a troll, so I'll cut it some slack, but yeah, it is definitively the worst medallion in Fortnite history. There should be no argument on that. At number 13 is going to be Mysterio's stealth medallion from chapter 5 season 4. Again, this is another medallion that I think was widely regarded to be one of the worst, if not the worst medallion ever. Up until season 6 with a brand new medallion, which I'll talk about later on in this video, cloaking, weapons, devices, gauntlets, they just don't work. They don't hide you enough, and especially this one limits you so much because you can only use it, if I remember correctly, when crouching. If you get up to sprint, it does not work. It will totally deactivate, and it's just really not good in any scenario. Not to mention that, well, you really couldn't sneak up on people because, of course, when you had the medallion, it reveals your location on the minimap to every other player in that lobby, so you can't really sneak up on anybody, which is what this is meant for. And, well, there's been a medallion that does cloaking so much better. At number 12 is a brand new Chapter 6 Season 1 medallion. It is the Night Rose medallion. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, this is an incredibly underwhelming medallion. It is not good. All this medallion does is just constantly load ammo, but it doesn't load ammo into your mag quick enough to the point where you wouldn't just reload instead. You guys know what I'm saying? Like, you only get like a couple of bullets every couple of seconds. It's really only useful for a weapon like the Oni shotgun where, well, you really only have 2 shells. But on any other weapon in the game, there's really no point to take this medallion. You just reload and you'll get your whole mag faster than if you were to wait like 20 seconds for this thing to fill it all up. I think the main use that they had when they were creating this medallion, like in their head for this, was that you would shoot a whole mag and then you would switch off a weapon, and then by the time you switch back to that weapon that you just shot all the bullets from, it would be fully reloaded, but in reality, it just doesn't work out that way. Anyways, moving on to number 11, that is going to be the Aspect of Speed, or Zeus's medallion from Chapter 5 Season 2. Now, this medallion still is very bad, but the last 3 I just mentioned were like downright horrible. This one is bad, but I guess a little bit better, if you know what I'm saying. This medallion increases your sprint speed and your jump height by 20%, all the way up until 40%, and it totally nullifies all fall damage. You do not take fall damage when you are sprint jumping. That's important to note here, right? It's not like you can just walk off a building and not take any fall damage. You have to be sprint jumping, and you'll notice there'll be like that little yellow ability under your feet, and you'll take no fall damage. And for that no fall damage, it is really, really good. But like, do I really care about a slight increase in sprint speed and jump height? Not really, especially when there's a medallion that would just literally let you infinitely sprint. That came out in Chapter 5 Season 3. It basically made this medallion look even worse. By no means is it a good medallion at all, but well, it's not really the worst that we've ever seen. At my number 10 spot, I've got the Aspect of Combat. That is going to be Ares medallion, of course, that can be found at Brawler's Battleground. And again, this is a medallion that in theory sounds good, but it doesn't really play out like that. It basically only gives you like a damage or 2 extra damage on your ranged weapons. You know, like maybe there's a couple instances where that 1 or 2 extra damage is going to give you the kill and help you survive, but really it's just, you don't really feel this medallion being useful when you're using it. You know what I'm saying? There are just so many better, more useful medallions that can help you in combat. But of course, what I will say is this medallion does pair really well with Ares' Warforged AR. That is a pretty good duo, but honestly, I just think the majority of people went for the other medallions in Chapter 5 Season 2 that were just so much better than both the Aspect of Speed and the Aspect of Combat. Although another important point I should make about Ares' medallion is it increases the damage the further away you are from somebody. So for example, right, a legendary Reaper Sniper will do 127 damage, but if you were to go, you know, another 100 meters out, it will do 134 damage. So you can see for weapons like snipers, for example, this medallion actually will put in some serious work. But, you know, SMGs, shotguns, pistols, just really useless. ARs, again, kind of a toss-up. It's just not the best, really. At my number 9 spot is going to be all of the Chapter 5 medallions, but don't worry, I will rank them right now from worst to best, right? So the worst Chapter 5 medallion, in my opinion, is Montague's. Then it goes Valeria's, Peter Griffin's, Nisha's, and Oscar's. Of course, I believe Oscar's was the best medallion because I believe his mythic was the best mythic in Chapter 5 Season 1. Of course, his Frenzy Auto Shotgun. And I believe Montague's Nemesis AR was the worst mythic in Chapter 5 Season 1, or at least the worst boss mythic in that season, and so he gets the worst out of the Chapter 5 medallions. And of course, you can, you know, sort out the ones in between. You guys get what I'm saying. Chapter 5 medallions obviously didn't have special abilities. They just gave you increased shield gain for each one that you had. So when you had one medallion, I believe you would gain like 25 shield over time, and then 2 you would get 50, and then so on and so forth. You get what I'm saying? So obviously that is why I'm ranking them mainly based on their mythic weapon versus the medallion. Moving on to number 8, I've got Ringmaster Scar's medallion from Chapter 5 Season 3. This is kind of a weird medallion. Similarly to Ares' medallion, it does give you like a slight damage buff. I think it's actually a little bit of a higher of a damage buff than Ares' medallion. Like I think it's like 5 to 6% per weapon. So again, you're looking at 1 to, you know, 3 extra damage for the most part. But it also provides infinite ammo, and that's interesting because do you really need infinite ammo? I mean, think about it. How many times in a Fortnite game do you run out of ammo? I'm willing to say like less than 5%. You're like down bad for ammo, right? Most of the time, ammo is plentiful and you have a lot. This medallion is just really good for weapons that are really tough to find ammo for. So I'm thinking like the Doombot, right? Rockets were tough to find in Chapter 5 Season 3. So to have infinite rockets for that just makes it so good, so spammy, and a really good weapon. But for the majority of weapons, this medallion is kind of useless, dare I say. Again, infinite ammo doesn't hurt you at all. It's not a bad thing, but it's just not the best benefit you can get from medallions. At number 7 is going to be the aspect of Siphon. Again, from Chapter 5 Season 2, this is Hades' medallion, and it's quite simple. It just gives you Siphon. Siphon is always a good thing. You know, you get 50 health or shield once you get in a limb, and the only reason why it's not higher is because the aspect of Siphon, well, doesn't really help you win a gunfight. You know what I'm saying? It helps you after the fact and can help you maybe survive against third parties, but in a 1v1, you know, combat situation, the aspect of Siphon does nothing for you. It's useless in that. And spoiler alert, there is actually a better Siphon medallion higher up on this list. At number 6 is going to be the Machinist medallion from Chapter 5 Season 3, and this is a really solid medallion. You regenerate 5 shield per second after you take damage, so you gotta take damage, you know, you wait a little bit, and then it will start regenerating 5 shield per second up to 75 shield. So you basically have a slurp juice at any time whenever you need it. That is really good because not only do you just have basically infinite shield always flowing to you, you also really don't have to carry shield when you use this item. And so obviously that frees up some inventory slots. Again, like this is another weird medallion in terms of how much it helps you during a fight. You know, this medallion basically banks on you taking a lot of damage in order to help you. Obviously you don't want to take a lot of damage, but you know, it's Fortnite. It's inevitable. You're going to get hit hard sometimes. And this medallion will help you in those cases, but obviously you got to kind of back off. You got to reset, take some time to get that shield up. But again, this medallion is very, very good. I really don't have anything negative to say about it. At number 5 is going to be Doombot's Siphon medallion. You might be wondering, well, how does this get so much higher than the aspect of Siphon? I mean, I guess not so much higher. It's only 1 to 2 spots higher. Well, that's because for one, Doombot had a greater, just so much better kit of items that he would drop alongside of him. And like I said in the beginning of this video, I am considering the mythic weapons that are dropped by the boss next to the medallions. You could also kind of stack Siphon if that makes sense. Like you get the 50 from this and the Siphon that was already in the game. And so there were some points when you could get 100 Siphon, which is crazy. But overall, it is really close. I do think it's a little bit better than the aspect of Siphon from Hades, but really not much higher than that, and that's why it's only, well, 1 spot higher than it. At number 4, I'm gonna go with Megalodon's medallion, which gave you infinite nitro from Chapter 5 Season 3. In my original video, I absolutely trashed on this medallion, and you know what? I will totally admit I was entirely wrong on this medallion. This medallion is incredible, especially in the beginning of Chapter 5 Season 3, right? When nitro was so good, you could just barrel in through any single box you wanted to. Nitro was like a must-have, and obviously that wasn't the case throughout the entire season, but infinite nitro means infinite sprint, and infinite sprint means infinite mobility. You guys all know how good mobility is, and to be able to literally infinitely sprint however long you wanted to is so good. Like, I can't even say to you how good good that is. It really is just an incredible medallion, and this is an example of one that will help you in your 1v1 fights. But it does not crack the top 3, and that's because it's beaten out by Emma Frost's Reveal Medallion at that number 3 spot. Of course, from Chapter 5, Season 4, Emma Frost's Reveal Medallion is unbelievable, especially once you pair it with her Burst AR. It is just a perfect combination. You can see through walls, obviously, because you can reveal anybody wherever they are, really at any point in the game. It's just so good. It was very clearly the best medallion in Chapter 5, Season 4. And again, I think what makes it so good is its pairing with her Mythic Assault Rifle. Just having that constant recon all the time, especially in a very tight, close endgame, just knowing, you know, someone's in this box, someone's in this box, someone's above me, someone's below me. That is just incredible intel. But at my number 2 spot, I've got the aspect of agility. That is Cerberus's medallion. And do I really need to even explain why this medallion is so good? It would infinitely provide charges of the Underworld Dash, or as you guys probably know it as the Green Skulls. Just go and watch any gameplay of Chapter 5 Season 2 and look at how difficult it is to kill anybody who has Green Skulls. Normally, of course, you only get 3 of them, but with the aspect of agility, you get infinite, which again means infinite mobility. And this is just such a game changer in a fight. If you're going up against somebody with the aspect of agility, like, I really do wish you the best of luck. It is so hard to kill somebody when they are just dashing all around you all the time. It's so annoying. It's so frustrating. And when you pair it with Cerberus's Gatekeeper shotgun, one of the best shotguns in Fortnite history, you can easily close the gap on people, just get right in their face. And honestly, it really took a lot for me to not put this as the best medallion in Fortnite history. I think it is beaten out by Shogun X's medallion at the number 1 spot, of course, from Chapter 6, Season 1. And this medallion, as you guys probably know, gives you infinite stamina. So there you go right away. Infinite sprint, infinite slide, infinite mobility. And while sprinting, you cloak into the void, which basically makes you invisible. So not only does this medallion just totally fix the problem with Mysterio's medallion, which was, you know, you basically had to be stationary for it to cloak you. Now you can just sprint wherever you want fully for the entire game and be invisible while you do it. Obviously, you know, it's not fully invisible. That would be totally overpowered, but it's invisible enough to the point where you can really lose somebody when you just sprint back and forth and kind of zigzag. And obviously, you have the ability to do that with infinite stamina. It is just such a game-changing medallion. It helps you in every single way. And anytime I'm in endgame, if I don't have this medallion, the person that I'm going up against has it. It is always in the game in those late moments. And it just feels like when you're going up against this medallion, they have such a significant advantage over you. While I would understand if you wanted to put the aspect of agility here, I think there's no debate that Shogun X's medallion and that medallion should definitely be the number 1 and 2 spot. And I think Shogun X's medallion beats it out. If you guys went on to enjoy this video, please be sure to leave it a like and subscribe. Every day I'm coming up with new ideas for ranking content for you guys to enjoy. Be sure to subscribe because we are so close to 100,000 subscribers. We're like over 2/3 of the way there. Thank you guys for your constant support on all my videos. Let me know in the comment section down below what you thought about this ranking and any new video ideas you would like to see me make. With all that being said, as always, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.